Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte, I come from Norway and I love makeup. I'm here with my little puppy Luke today because he just woke up as I was going to film my intro, so here's him. But today I'm actually going to be showing you guys a new collection from Glam Shop and some blushes, cream blushes that they sent me, so I will be swatching it all. And I of course did this look with the makeup, and if you're interested in seeing that, then please keep on watching. As usual, the product that I'm most excited about is the eyeshadow palette, which looks like this on the inside. I really love it. That was Luke getting up. But I really like the colors. I feel like it's a very autumnal fall palette kind of, but it's kind of colorful but neutral. And I think it's very interesting actually. And I especially love these shades and of course the more berry shade. One thing I will say though is that I don't think that the packaging is like, I don't get the packaging for this palette because it's none of the colors that are in here resemble the packaging. And of course I want to mention the name of the collection. It's called Oriental, and I know in Europe it's maybe not that big of a deal, but I know in the United States it can be a little bit offensive to name your collection after, I don't know, a different culture that has been exploited in the past. And I feel like and please let me know if this is wrong, but I feel like the name Oriental, from what I know, has been a little bit like fetishized, or what do you call it, like exoticism? I don't know, but at least it has a lot of historical baggage to it, which I don't think is that known in Europe. I mean, it should be, but I don't think it is, so I would have called this collection something else, especially after their collection from Glam Shop, of course, I mean, last year, because that was like the nude collection or nude mandala. And then it was like names from Buddhism and Hinduism, I think, and I find it a little bit disrespectful, to be honest. And yeah, I love Glam Shop, but I wish that they would think a little bit more about the naming of the collection and the shades and everything. So that's just my note on that, and I would love to hear what you think about that. I am not the most knowledgeable on the area, but I do want to be mindful of other people's cultures and stuff. But the palette itself is gorgeous. So I'm of course going to do some swatches of the palette and of the other products. So here we also have the face palette, which looks very interesting. It's like a baked formula. I just never really like it when brands come out with face palettes because it's always catered to just one skin tone. And I get it, Poland is a European country and most people in Poland could wear this palette as a face palette. I just personally don't love face palettes. I would rather have a single products, but I get that this is going to sell a lot in Poland and it's a beautiful product, don't get me wrong, it's super beautiful, but that's just my take on it. So I will of course swatch this one as well, and they also came out with cream blushes, which I also think I mentioned. So this is the face palette that goes with the collection. It's quite similar to the palette, the eyeshadow palette in the front, and I'm just going to swatch them like very lightly. When I use these with a brush, they go like they're very powdery. I think it's because of the baked formula. So here you can see those. Well, so there they are. You see that the highlighting shade will be way too deep for me. It looks almost like a bronzer when I've place it or have the lighting like this. I really like the bronzer and the blush though, because they're slightly shimmery but not like with any big particles. They're just very satiny, which I really like. So that's a beautiful little face palette. I just wish they had it in more colors because this bronzer is not super deep. It fits me, and you can see how white I am. I'm super pale. So I would love to see some more, or at least some more variation, because I feel like this is very similar to what they already have, apart from this being satin. here are the mattes. Sadly, I did forget to turn on my mic for the shimmers, but I hope that you still enjoyed watching them up close, even though I wasn't commenting on it. But here we have the mattes, as I said, and the two first ones are boring to me. I don't really need those kind of colors in all my palettes, the light beige ones. But I guess a lot of people do use them. And then we have that gorgeous orange right here. I really like this kind of orange. It's so pretty. And you can definitely make a very neutral look with both the orange and the brown and of course the beiges. And my favorite shade in this palette is this one. It's, I don't know, it's such a grungy yellowy green. I don't know, I just love those shades so much, and I think that those kind of shades are so pretty with the purples. So I really do enjoy that part of the palette, and with orange I find that it's quite a unique color story kind of. I don't know what you feel about that, but I feel like the orange and that yellowy green with the purples is really beautiful. And the black is extremely pigmented, and I will say that my skin is kind of dry right now because this is the fourth palette in a row that I'm swatching because I was so behind with my swatches. So that's why maybe they're looking a little bit more dry than they usually do. And of course I did swatch them without anything underneath, so as I know Glam Shop shadows, these do perform well on the eye, and especially using an eyeshadow base. So those are the mattes, and let's go to the look that I created using some of these. Although I swatched the palette for you guys, at this point when I'm doing my makeup I have not swatched it yet. So to decide what kind of look I want, I just had to swatch out the shimmers to kind of see what was up, and I think I'll actually, like, these two first ones are the ones I'm most excited about, so I think I will actually go for this one. It's just such an interesting shade with like blue and green reflex and lots of sparkles to it, as you can see. So I just applied my Smashbox primer, and now I'm going in with the Glam Shop eye base. I usually don't really show it, but I have been doing this for quite some time now, that I always apply it on the outer side and on the inner side right here, and then I just blend it out. And I try to not apply it in the crease because I have very hooded and oily eyes, and I will have creasing if I apply too much product on the eyelid, so I try to keep it simple. But I really like this one because it kind of cancels out the discoloration that I have. I think I applied a little bit too much, so I'm just applying a little bit on this side too. But I do usually drag it up here a little bit because I have a blue line, and I feel like the shadow sticks really nicely to this base, and it's just a really nice color for me. Other than the shimmer shade that I already showed you that I want to use, I think I'm going to make like a purpley orange look. So since the purples go the deepest, I will use those for the outer corner, and then I will use the orange as like the deepest inner crease shade, and then blend it out with this one. I just think this shade is like so pretty. But I think I will start off with this shade, and then I will use at least this one. As usual, I will just make a slightly winged shape with the deepest shade here, and I love this brush for that. This is a WG3 brush from Stasia Alex. It's just a little bit pointed at the end, and it's very detailed, which I love. So other than the Glam Shop brushes that I love, this one is one of the kind of go-to brushes for me. So for that orange shade, I'm using my Glam Shop brush in 026, and I'm basically just going to place it all over the lid and just slightly above the crease, and then I will use that mustardy kind of shade to blend out this one, and the more lilac-y one to blend out the kind of berry purple shade. So for that purpley lilac-y shade, I'm using my 022 brush from Glam Shop, and I'll just apply it right over the edge right here and blend it out slightly upwards, but not too high up, because higher up I'm going to use that lightest shade. So if you're a different skin tone than me, you would want to use something that is very close to your skin tone to just make a nice blend. And for that mustardy shade, I'm using 127 by Glam Shop. Wow, that is a little bit deeper than I first thought, so I don't know. I will just try to apply it a little bit on top of the orange then. Oh, it's such a pretty shade though. Now I'm just taking this R104 brush by What's Up Beauty, and I'm just loading on that lightest matte shade. And I usually do this with any kind of matte shade or translucent powder, just to mattify where I put the primer, and also it helps blending out the shade because it's kind of, since it's my skin tone and it's overlapping the shades I've applied, it will kind of just, I don't know, I just suck at explaining, but it will cover up a little bit of those shades and just make them look even more blended. So I'm just going to do the other eye and also just perfect this eye a little bit, and then I'll come back to do the shimmers. I just applied my Glam Glue and now I'm going in with that pink shimmer. And I just hope that it will look good once it comes together. I'm just going to take my finger because I do really like to intensify and apply shimmers with my finger. I don't know if you see it, but this shade is so pretty. It's really sparkly and kind of textured without being too textured, if you know what I mean. So I'm just tapping a little bit with my finger here to make sure that I don't have any sharp line with that shimmer, because I like to kind of disperse it a little bit up and over the mattes. And I do really like how this is looking. We'll decide later what to do for the inner corner. So for now, I'm just going to finish off my face makeup. So I'm about to apply my bronzer, which is, I think it's, yeah, shade Sandy from, of course, Glam Shop. And I'm going to use this new brush because I usually use another one from Glam Shop that looks like this. But I find this one, because I think it has natural hairs, it's not the best for cream products, and it's also a little bit, I don't know, it's not as soft. I think this one might be a better option. It's a little bit bigger too, which, I mean, I don't necessarily need it to be this big, but I just figured I would try it, and I started a little bit here already, so you can see that it's applying really nicely. And with these bronzers, they're a little bit harder than other, like, I haven't really used cream bronzers before Glam Shop and I fell in love, but I have noticed that these ones are a little bit harder than others. If you are used to like super creamy, very pigmented, like, you have to build it up, but it gives you such a natural and beautiful finish and color. So I personally still absolutely love these ones. Figured I could zoom you out a little bit. But yeah, I really do enjoy this brush. It's softer, so I think I will actually start using this one as my cream bronzer brush instead of the other one. I did apply a little bit of the shade Hazelnut as well. It's more of a contour shade. It's one of their cooler tones. And it's a little bit too deep for me, but I just applied very gently and I think it looks amazing. So now I'm going to try the new blush. Wow, is it really that orange? I feel like it looks more orange in my monitor, but I mean, it is called Slightly Orange Cocktail. And I'm going to use this brush. I always use this for my cream blushes, and it's from Glam Shop, from a pink brush set that they had a while back. I'm not sure if they still have it. So yeah, I'm just going to apply here first, I think. Again, this is also a little bit more, it's kind of a balm. So if you use your, wow, now I got a ton here. But if you use your fingers, you're going to get a lot of pigment very fast. So if you want that, then go on, use your fingers, because it's warming up the product and it's applying really simple that way. But I'd rather go in with a little at first and build it up. And the reason why I love these blushes so much is that they are so versatile like that, and I don't know, they just look really beautiful. They have a beautiful finish. It's not completely matte, but it's also not shimmery, and it doesn't affect your foundation too much. Like you just mix it kind of into it and it doesn't lift it. And I just really enjoy that cream blush because they already have 2 different ones from their Temptation collection. They also came out with this felt tip eyeliner, and I already tried it and it's super precise. I mean, you can see how opaque that is, and it is super sharp, as you can see on the tip, so you will be able to get a super sharp line with it. At least I felt it was super simple. And you do see, as usual with those kind of liners, you can see that they are a little bit shiny. But yeah, that's the eyeliner. I just did my liner and mascara, and I don't think I did much more, but I will be trying out this palette now. So for the kind of contoury bronzing shade, I will use T127 by Glam Shop. And oh my god, that is very pigmented, as you can see. So I just tapped off the brush and now I'm just going to apply it right here. So it's definitely more of a bronzer shade, I can tell. But the finish is looking really nice. It looks like it blends really nicely too. Oh my god, it's very pigmented. It's like a lot comes off only if I tap my brush in very lightly, but it looks very pretty. And I'm pretty sure that both of these will be way too deep for me as highlighters, but I will be trying out this lightest one. I'm just going to tap very lightly. It's also very pigmented when you tap your brush in there, so I'm just going to start a little bit lower just in case it's too deep. Yeah, I can definitely tell this will give me a cast, but I will just blend it very lightly. It's just got a little bit too much of a deep base for me to use as a highlight, but it looks pretty. So if you are a little bit deeper than me, then it might be really nice. And I wanted to show you one thing, because I do have a powder that is like a satin powder from Glam Shop. It's this one. So I'll just swatch this and then I'll swatch the contour one, because I was feeling like the contour one might be this kind of powder just for deeper skin. So yeah, I think it really is. I mean, you can't really tell, but I do have the satin one that I use here, so that's why you can see a little bit of a sheen there. And then this is the deeper one. I'll just see if it works turning down a little bit of the lighting, but I don't think you can see that. But I use this powder a lot for just applying as kind of a transition between my bronzer and the highlight, so just a tip. But since that highlight is a little bit too deep for me, I'm just going to use the Essence Collection highlighter, which I've been using almost every day. It's so beautiful. So it's a duo highlight, but I got an extra one in PR that arrived broken, the first thing ever to arrive broken from Glam Shop. So I just mixed it together and repressed it in a pan, and now I have it easily available in my go-to face palette, and I love it so much. I will just finish off lipstick, lashes, and show you close up. So Luke is still with me, he's really tired, but that was a finished look and I really like how it turned out. I think the eyeshadow palette is absolutely beautiful, even though it has a name that I'm not that happy with. And of course the eyeshadow palette itself, like the colors, it doesn't reflect the packaging, so I think they could have had a different name, but the products themselves are beautiful. And I'm so excited that they expanded their blush range, because I love their cream blush so much. And I feel like this baked kind of bronzer contour blush highlight formula is very interesting and I'm excited to try it more. But I do think that's it for this video. If you did like it, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you want to see more content from me. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!